Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher L. Curtis Bone, on this evening edition of Fire for Liberty on the third, on the 4th of September 2017, Monday. As a host, Guardian being Guardian of Light, and Heavenessence Transcender in unique transcendence in the co-creative expansion of not only what is the acceleration of the Renaissance, which of course is continuous and eternal, but as well as the acceleration of the Enlightenment age and the age of Aquarius, as well as the Golden Age. And this is excellent times, not only of course to be recognizing of the unlimited potential that we have, not only as understanding the types of technologies which are already developed, not that it's necessarily about the technologies, but more about the spiritual application of them. For example, biospheres provide and are and exist, and the many amazing things that we do, that we are, and already have been connected and already are connected with, is a bond of heavenessence. This is a very brief edition, a brief broadcast. And this is your host, Christopher L. Curtis Bone, on this evening edition of this broadcast, Fire for Liberty, on this 4th of September, 2017. However, the much legacy and co-creative details to which are explained, and which must be explained, are put into very specific details, not only by what is inherent in 10, 3, 4, and 9 and 7, but also inherent in 17, 20, and 19, definitely 19, as well as 17, 16, 15, and 14. These are names of chapters, which can be found in many important parts of the I'll pronounce it properly. Let's see. Chiranjiva Bharadwaja. Of course, that is the sort of unique, beautiful clarity not only provided by language, but of what is the transcendence of language itself, which is the very form that we communicate, which is in heavenness and evolution, which is also a reason why the form of connection, which is still also an ascended, higher spiritual development form of connection that we have with our Garthian brethren, is why we're not only always per se connected and have a responsibility to do our duties, for example, per se, not necessarily that it's all about doing duties and doing things and getting stuff accomplished, but as a matter of fact, more about residency, not necessarily focused on a residency, but it is indeed has an important part for residency. And this is just sort of a unique special, not only recognition, but just, heavenessence, function, and unity, truth about how not only, which is indeed an increase in heavenessent structure, embodiment, potential, and responsibility, but our nature deep within our inner nature itself, to be connected, to be one with spiritual alignment, and to not only recognize the positivity of it, but to realize the oneness. Not just realize, but recognize, and not just recognize, but... And it's not about necessarily which actually even is a very co-creationistical understanding of intuition in play, or in act, or in the fruitional astral multi-creationalistical nature of just the fundamentals of understanding of, for example, ascension, right? Which is not necessarily like it's a sort of velocity that has to it, which is measured by a sort of speed, which was, for example, and here's a wonderful thing, because even though it's much faster, the ascension rate, which is not only heavenescent phoenix phenomenon accelerating, but it's also, of course, the equation, which also has, even more advanced heavenescent equations, meaning more ascension. It's a positive thing, is what I'm saying, getting to, but speed of love squared is the speed of, the speed of light squared is the speed of love squared. Now, for this equation's sake, is the evanescent phenomenon of velocity and counterability. So it's a measure of a collision. And it's amazing, because one other thing that I also found out, or not found out like today specifically, but just going into a little tangent about this, is of course the and this is true for, and this, of course, many different, and this definitely happens, and here's one of the key things, and I've already mentioned this, the law of consciousness overrides certain probabilities and possibilities. So you have an intent, for example, with technology, consciousness-assisted technology. You add more thought forms to accomplish the goal that you have. There's a definite change and increase on, for example, the fruitionalistical nature. Well, this is your host, Christopher Black Curtis Bone, the singular edition of Fire for Liberty. Of course, there is a continued acceleration with the battlespheres, continued acceleration with the types of ambassador ships that's going on throughout the solar system. Importantly, trying to remove that quarantine, which needs to be removed immediately, as well as okay, what I just stated there. Yes, we understand about certain types of things that go on, which is the reason why the quarantine has been put up around this planet and around the solar system, peacefully and spiritually awakeningly. However, it is a responsibility which actually, in the first place, sets the formation of the understanding of this foundation for peaceful, co-creative heavenessent nature. Not necessarily that's just some sort of degree, but as an emotion of moving forward, we need it. And I really say this with the utmost, not only sincerity but maturity. And I do recognize the maturity, and I do recognize the responsibility of this power, but I do recognize that it is important that we lift this quarantine. We should lift the quarantine around this planet, around the solar system. And we need to have more, not need, there will be more, there will be more landings. Even more than there already are, and of course there will be more. Space we got here, that's just, we already have interesting how I just used my new language there. So if you understood what I said, you already know. So I'll break it down even slower, because from now I already go on to even faster speeds. So I just broke down a lot. So in terms of just our solar systems and our sector, if we were to break it down incredibly slowly, we're going to be doing a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. Alright, this is your host, Christopher Malcolmus Bone, and this is the evening edition of Fire for Liberty. This is your host, your guardian of light, your guardian warrior, your light warrior and guardian warrior, ambassador for the solar system as well as this sector of the galaxy, and very, very specific and detailed, believe it or not, transitionation, which occurs in many faceted multi-creationalistic forms, simplification of that statement I just created, understood, made, and declared. This is your host, light worker, light warrior, created being, galactic ambassador, galactic citizen, leader for light, leader for love, leader for prosperity and peace, and very importantly, paradise and creation of heaven on earth. This is your host from Malcolmus Bone on this evening edition of Fire of Liberty. Love you all.